Our investigation leads us to an arrest for the arson murder of Dee Taylor.
The suspect managed to go to the house and seize that opportunity to take his life.
Our investigator, Larry Watson, brings in that murder suspect, and the terrible ordeal for Dee Taylor's family is finally over.
If someone needs a case closed, they ought to call y'all.
Exclusive, how we busted this man wanted for killing Dee Taylor. When Beverly Lombardo tried to turn a herd...
A case-closed investigation that reverberates throughout Oklahoma. Dee Taylor spent his entire life in Bonita, Oklahoma, and that's where he died. Since his death in a fire in 1991, the mystery of Dee's final hours had remained unsolved. But when case-closed investigator Larry Watson got on the story, he got answers, and something even more rewarding. In Bonita, Oklahoma, where everybody knows everybody else's business, you just can't keep a secret, unless perhaps you've been threatened.
He has made threats that if they tell that he's involved, he would kill them in the worst possible way.
He said, don't with me. You know I know how to take care of people.
She's in fear of her life. She, the defendant, threatened to kill her if she came forth.
For more than 2 years now, authorities in this town have had one great unsolved murder mystery on their hands. Not because no one knows what happened to Dee Taylor on the night of October 26, 1991. Fact is, plenty of people here probably do have inside knowledge of why this popular 26-year-old burned to death when someone torched the home he was in late one night. It's just that no one has been willing to risk talking to the police, because authorities say this man, Dale Livingston, the prime suspect in the arson murder of Dee Taylor, has a reputation for intimidating the living daylights out of people here.
They're all scared to death of him.
I just want him caught. And then it'll be over.
Imagine what Dee Taylor's two grieving sisters have gone through. 2 years of bitterness and frustration. The case of their brother's murder at a complete standstill. Bonita police unable to get people to talk. Then they called case closed. We immediately put veteran private investigators Larry Watson and Jim Grace on the case.
The accelerant basically ran over to the base of this tree where he could have used the tree for shelter when he lit off that trail.
Yeah. In no time, our two private detectives managed to convince some very frightened people to come forward.
Clearly there's a motive there, you know. You've got a jealous husband.
Joanne Bergman had been married to Dale Livingston for 18 years, until she divorced him and began living with Dee Taylor just a few months before he died.
Anytime that I ever saw the two of them around each other, Dale was threatening Dee, staring us down if he came into a club where we were. I think that Dale thought, if I can get rid of Dee and she loses everything she's got, she'll come back. The night of the murder, Dale was in the bar with Dee, and he was just being real sweet to him, and that was just too out of character for Dale.
The dead man's two sisters, Joy and Fonda, are still racked by grief more than 2 years after losing their beloved brother.
He didn't never hurt anybody. Played a lot of pool and flirted. But he never hurt anybody, and he didn't deserve this.
About 2 a.m. that final night, after a long evening of partying, Dee Taylor headed back to Joanne's home and sat down on the couch waiting for Joanne to return. But someone apparently visited the home before she did. Someone who poured gasoline through the house and then lit the match.
There was no way in the world he had a prayer.
Word of the fire spread through town as fast as the cruel flames themselves.
All
all the way over there, I kept thinking, I bet Dee's standing there waiting on me right now. And as long as I have him there by my side, well, I can make it, and I can go get over this too. And only to find out that he couldn't be there with me.
When I seen the house burning, I knew that Dee was going to be dead because it was so bad. All I kept thinking about was how my mother would feel.
In 1991, the arson murder investigation begins, but soon hits a dead end when no one dares tell what they know. 2 years of fear and frustration pass until Case Closed begins its probe. Investigators Watson and Grace know what they need, someone to provide evidence of murder. Our detectives managed to track down this woman in California, an ex-girlfriend of Dale Livingston.
I know that he wanted to be back together with his ex-wife. And Dee was basically the only thing standing in the way.
Katie Jarrett fled from Dale just days after the fire because, she says, she became convinced that he killed Dee Taylor.
And what were his parting words to you?
He said, "Don't with me. You know I know how to take care of people."
Did you believe him?
Oh, definitely. That's why I left.
That's why you left Oklahoma?
That's why I left Oklahoma, because I was scared of him, and I felt that if I wasn't around, he would leave my family alone.
Then, back to Oklahoma.
Fonda's boyfriend was the last to see Dee alive.
Right.
It was somewhere in the vicinity of 12:30 in the morning, I guess.
Investigators Watson and Grace set up shop at a motel just outside town. Their hard work begins to pay off in a big way. Our two detectives managed to cut through the conspiracy of silence gripping Benita with testimony from the suspect's own family.
I heard him say that he could kill somebody. It would be easy to kill somebody in Bonita and get away with it.
Then our investigators managed to convince Dale Livingston's own son, Shane, to reveal what his father said to him the morning after the fire.
Told me that he had finally solved this problem between him, Mom, and Dee. And I said, "How'd you do that?" And he said, "I killed Dee last night, burnt your mom's house down."
Confronted with a choice between speaking out and protecting his own father, 16-year-old Shane doesn't hesitate 1 second.
If he's guilty of it, then he needs to go to prison and serve his time. And if it comes to me having to send him there for it, I will do it.
That explosive statement from the suspect's own son, obtained by our investigators, may be enough to wrap up the case against Dale Livingston. It's the type of damning evidence that detectives dream of finding. A man's own son implicating his father in an unsolved murder mystery. Larry Watson and Jim Grace believe they have a case closed.
I believe in my heart that he's the person that's responsible for the death of Dee Taylor.
So armed with the stunning testimony they've gathered, our investigators Watson and Grace take their information to the district attorney. In short order, police detective George Hicks heads straight to Dale Livingston's home, an arrest warrant in hand charging him with first-degree murder. But Dale isn't there. Police search the town for hours. Then suddenly their suspect surrenders at the courthouse. Dale Livingston is arraigned immediately. The prosecutor recommends no bond, but the judge sets bail at $500,000. On the way back to jail, the suspect is strikingly calm as he proclaims his innocence, the case closed.
Nothing to be worried about. I didn't do anything. Nothing to be worried about. It'll all be taken care of. I'll be found innocent. That's it. I'm sure what else to say.
Have you been expecting this?
Oh, yeah. Because I was the husband of the woman that's house burned. I expected it a long time before now.
Have you been worried about it a lot?
No, nothing to worry about. I didn't do anything. There's one person worried if you didn't do anything. I know I'll be found innocent. Go back to my family.
The local local prosecutor says don't believe that sweet talk for a minute.
He has made threats to other people that if they tell that he's involved, that he's going to do the same thing to them.
Now, there are some mighty relieved folks here in Veneta.
It's over.
You're arrested.
It's over.
He's in jail. There is a God.
We come to pepper you one more time.
Okay.
It's all over.
Have you made your way? We appreciate everything.
You do.
Can I give you a hug? It's about time. You could talk to today.
Well, I think I'm happy. I think if someone needs a case closed, they ought to call y'all. I think if someone needs a private investigator, this is the best they're going to find.
For 2 years, nothing's happened, and now case closed came, and I think that there's justice being done.
Dee will be at peace for the first time since his death, and that's a little bit of satisfaction there. And it'll just be easier to deal with him being gone, with them being caught.
Joining me now is Case Closed producer Stephen Langford. Steve, good work on the investigation. What's the news out of Oklahoma on that story?
Well, this is a case that authorities in tiny Veneta, Oklahoma have badly wanted to solve, so they're going to go for the max. We're talking murder, 1, conspiracy, the death penalty. In the state of Oklahoma, that is by lethal injection.
Thank you, Steve. Case closed.